So this is Sue Chung from Commercial Financing Experts Academy. We have here today is David Monteith, one of my first colleagues that I came across a few years ago when he was trying to do a file on a commercial side. Wasn't something that he knew about yet at the time, but it was a residential file that he's pounding his head to try and get it approved. And this is the idea of the case where most of you residential mortgage brokers will eventually come across is that you have a AAA client that has good income, has a great business, everything shows super fine, but for one reason or another, it just doesn't fit the box in the broker channel lenders. And when David heard about me, he just gave me a shot. He said, so maybe have a look at this, see what you can do for me. Perhaps maybe David can enlighten us about this scenario.
Sure. It was a residential purchase. It was a brand new build duplex in the city in Burnaby. And the client was self-employed, ran an automotive business that the business itself was very successful. He paid himself a reasonable amount of wages and dividends, but the biggest challenge was the rents from the property he was buying didn't cover the mortgage. Didn't even come close to covering the mortgage and the property taxes. Okay. So we were relying very heavily on his personal income, which because of his own mortgage and things like that, the numbers just didn't work. His TDS was way completely out of line. Okay. I went through, I think, just about every broker channel lender. I stopped counting at 12 no's, but I know I kept phoning. And I was brand new as a broker. I was about 5 or 6 months into the business at this point. And I thought before I completely lost this client, because he was getting frustrated with it taking so long, that I would give you a call and see if I was missing something as a new broker, or whether this was a deal I just needed to walk away from.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. And to my recollection, I think there was a few lenders you went to. How many were there in total? You remember?
I remember counting 12 no's, and I stopped counting. But I think I talked to the BDMs, or even I submitted a file to a couple of lenders. I think there was a total of 15 no's that I got on that deal in the residential channel.
Yeah. So moving forward, the efficiency ratio would have been hammered to death, right? Luckily, on the commercial side, we don't have such a thing as efficiency ratio to talk about. But I think there was another issue involved in that file. As I recall, he was getting money from the operating company for the down payment. So the money was coming from the operating company, and he was using to buy the rental property, put it into a holding company.
Yes. Yeah, that was another complication to it.
Yeah.
And being new as a broker, I didn't realize the challenge that I now understand, that trying to buy a property in a holdco added to the whole mix. So it was, now I know that deal didn't have any chance at all of ever flying on the residential side through the broker channel.
But as you can see how the client must have felt and how you felt personally, right?
Absolutely. The client was frustrated because he had bought and sold other properties and had been able to get financed. This was the first one he was buying in the holding company. So that was new to him, but he didn't understand why it was being so challenging. Yeah. And I was a fairly new broker at the time, so I didn't realize why it was being so challenging either. Yeah.
But from that point on, how was the result after you contacted me?
It was amazing. From the time I talked to you on the phone and you asked me to send you an email with some of the details and write up a bit of a synopsis. And from the time that I sent you that email till I got back a commitment from the lender was 4 hours. And I was absolutely...
How many hours did it take you for 12, 15 lenders in the broker channel?
I had probably, from the time of putting the deal together and making all the phone calls and everything, probably 20 hours into it at that point.
So, and I'm just saying that's a great success story, right, of what we did for the client. But of course, not every file can be that way. But in your scenario, it's a AAA client, right? And AAA client meaning that the great personal income is decent and great corporate income. Yeah. And this is since he's pretty much a sole owner of the company, why can't we use that income? And that's part what he's frustrated too, right? So what did we get for him? Something decent, or was quite high?
It was pretty decent. The rate we ended up getting him was 2.99. Now this is 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
2.5, yeah.
At the time, 5-year fixed residential rates were about 2.69.
Yeah.
2.74, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And we got him a 5-year commercial deal at 2.99.
Not too bad, not too shabby.
He was very happy with that. He
Yeah.
was expecting to pay a much higher interest rate.
Good, good.
And the best part about it was the commission.
How much had you made on that?
Actually,
how much was the gross commission you could have made?
The gross commission was $18,000. It was 2% of $900,000. That was
Not too shabby.
Pretty happy day cashing that check.
Good. I mean, really, alternatively, what option did he have, really?
The options that I had were none because he was ready to walk.
Yeah, but otherwise you have to go to the B side, right?
Either to the B side, or he may have been able to walk into his own branch, and somebody smart there might have figured it out for him. But the fact that he was dealing with me in the first place led me to believe that he was not successful at his own bank.
Very cool, very cool. So I was very happy to help you out, and glad that you heed my advice and
Absolutely.
we helped you climb out, right? Thanks for coming, David, and
Thank
thanks
you
for
very
sharing with
much.
us. We'll look for the next video with you.
Thanks.